So the first topic I'm going to talk about is that a new trailer for Super Mario Galaxy came out. I thought the trailer was fine. For me personally, I'm not too excited for this movie. It's not one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I liked the first one. I enjoyed the first Super Mario animated movie. I didn't think it was great or spectacular or anything like that. So I'm also not like a big Mario person. I never played too much of the games. So for me personally, the new trailer didn't get me like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this movie. And coming off of the first movie, which I enjoyed, I didn't love it though. So for me, this show didn't really get my excitement up. I can tell in the show that there's a lot of stuff. US movies never really played too many of the games. That there's a lot of stuff in it for Mario fans, and I think this looks like a fun, cute movie for kids and for Mario fans. I think Mario fans are gonna come on in droves and probably end up loving this movie. For me personally, I thought the trailer was just fine. Like it didn't do a whole lot for me. I didn't think the trailer was bad or anything. It's just like it looks fun. It just I wasn't like blown away by the trailers so far for this new Super Mario movie. The next topic I want to talk about is the first trailer for He-Man came out. Now there's two reasons why I'm excited for this movie. One is because I didn't watch the original He-Man animated series. The the 2003 animated show is the one that got me into the character. I believe it was there was an anime show that came out in 2003. I can't remember how long it lasted. That was the He-Man anime show that I really loved and got me into the character. I didn't see the newest He-Man animated thing called He-Man Revelations, I think it was called. And I believe it was on Netflix. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. I didn't see the new one. The 2003 one, though, I loved. The main reason why this gets me is why I'm excited for this movie though is because of Travis Knight. He to me delivered the best live action Transformers movie. I love Bumblebee. To me, that was a great movie. He also did Cuba and Two Strings, which I also love. So far he's 2 for 2 as a director. Like I'm surprised he hasn't directed more. Honestly, I feel like he didn't direct much after his last two movies, so I'm glad to see him directing something again. And I thought the show just looks like it looks ridiculous, but in the best possible way. It looks really just fun to me. And to me, when you do a He-Man movie, it should be fun. Like, when you I never seen the original anime show. I know what fans have said though He-Man can be cheesy at times. And I feel like this captures cheesiness in a great way where it just looks like action packed fun. The action looks really cool in this trailer, I thought. I'm not too familiar with the actor who's playing He-Man, Prince Adam slash He-Man in this movie. I haven't seen too much of this actor in anything, so I can't really comment on the casting choice for the lead actor. I think the whole cast looked great though. For me, I don't have a problem with any of the casting assistants for this movie. I love the costumes; they all look great. And personally, for me, I don't have a problem with the whole idea of the plot in this He-Man movie being that Prince Adam slash He-Man that his character has was sent away when he was little, from what it seems like, from danger and sent to Earth, where it looks like the movie's going to spend a lot of time with him on Earth. So I don't mind that. So it doesn't really bother me if it's done well. That's all I care about. And I think you could have maybe some fun fish out of the wall element with his character. And like I said, the accent looks really cool. And I think the actor who's playing He-Man, it looks like he buffed up for the role. I know in the animated stuff, He-Man looks extremely buff, and I think it would be really hard to like get an actor who can look as buff as the character does in animated stuff. And I think overall he looks in good shape, and it looks like he got in really good shape for this role. Again, I don't think you're gonna like. I think it's hard to like try to get an actor who's gonna look as buff as the character does in animated stuff. The only thing I worry about with this He-Man movie is the fact that you have Jared Leto as Skeletor. I will say this: I love the look of Skeletor in this trailer. I think he looks fantastic. Looks like straight out of the animated stuff, and I think he just looks really cool and badass. Jared Leto is the only thing I worry about because his last four performances, for me personally, I haven't been a big fan of his movie choices and his last four performances. Like, I didn't like him in House of Lucy. I thought he was terrible in that. I did not like him as Joker. really hated his version of Joker. I thought he was bland and flat in Tron Ares, and I thought he was bland and flat in Morbius. And look, Theodore's 4 movies I didn't like. House of Gucci I thought was like decent. The other 3 movies I just think are terrible. So it's just like overall, him lately, Jared Leto, I've just been kind of missed on with his performances lately. Like he hasn't, to me, he hasn't delivered a great performance personally in a while for me. Like I thought he was great in Blade Runner 2049. I actually thought he was really good in the first Urban Legend movie. So I've seen movies where he's great. It's just for me lately. I'll admit I haven't. He hasn't like I haven't been like the biggest fan of Jared Leto lately in his movies. Like he's been just kind of bland, and we just I haven't liked his performances lately. So we'll see. Like he's the one cast in this is, and I'm kind of like I don't know. Like I think he showed he can. He's shown in the past he is a great actor. I just think lately I haven't been too impressed by Jared Leto in his movies lately. Overall, though, I think the trailer looks great. Like I'm really excited for this movie. Really excited for this He-Man movie. I'm hoping it's at least. I'm hoping it's better than the original old movie with when it had the actress who played Monica from Friends. Like that, the old He-Man live action movie is terrible, and I hope this movie is way better than that because that old He-Man movie I thought was awful. So we'll see with this. I'm really excited for this, and I trust the director Travis Knight who directed it. The next topic is we want to talk about some box office stuff. So Zootopia has become the biggest movie in China where it topped Avengers Endgame, and it's released in the 1.7 something area. I love hearing this because of the fact that I love Zootopia too. I love these movies, and I knew the second one was going to be one of the biggest movies last year. And it's just this movie's done amazing. It's the biggest movie of the year. I thought Avatar 3 was gonna end up being the biggest movie, but I believe that movie is in the 1.4 area. So Avatar 3 is doing great. It's not doing as well as the last two Avatar movies. I thought like Avatar 3 honestly was gonna be the #1 movie of 2025, and it looks like Zootopia 2 ended up being #1 movie of 2025. Like I think Avatar 3 is running out of steam. So, and I think it's awesome that it became the biggest movie in China. Like people were loving Zootopia too. It's had great legs at the box office, and I think this is great news because I definitely want to see a third Zootopia movie. Hopefully they don't wait as long. And I'm happy for a movie that I loved, and this movie and Zootopia 2 is getting very well received by audience and critics. So I'm always happy seeing movies do well, and especially if it's a movie that I really like or love that I saw in theaters. And then the other part of the box office is we have I know 28 years later that took a 71.2 drop off from in its second week from I believe it opened to 13 in its first week, and this movie's just crashing, which I'm not surprised. I love 28 years later. The Bone Temple was a surprise movie this year for me because I had no excitement going into that movie. In fact, I was very missed on the last movie. So I just had no hype with this new 20 years later movie. And I ended up loving it. I had a feeling though, no matter how good of a movie you're gonna make with this new 20 years later movie, that this new one was gonna do bad. And reason why I felt like it was gonna do bad from the start is because that last 28 years later movie got a very divided response. People either loved that movie or extremely hated it. And sometimes it's worse when your movie gets the divisive response and not just a straight out negative response because there's clearly a disconnect with that last movie with audience and critics. I'm somebody who was very in the middle with that last movie, where there was things I liked about it. There was also some weird choices creatively that I wasn't a fan of. Some problems I had with that last movie, and I think that took out everybody's excitement for this franchise. So, I don't think this movie, the new 20 years later, the Bone Temple. I just had a feeling it was gonna crash and bone, and this is to me shows, and this is the fact that it's gonna take that it took this much of a drop off. It just to me shows that even with the opening too, it was to me it was done with the opening with the fact it only opened to 13. Like I think this movie's gonna is gonna barely make back its budget, and that's it, honestly. So I know they already, I think Sony already said they're doing the third one. With to be honest, I don't think the third one's gonna do all that well either. And as someone who loved the new one, it sucks because I think the new one was great. I thought it was a big improvement over that last movie. Problem is though, that last movie got it got a lot of people excited, and people came out just very divided on that last one. And to me, that's the main thing that hurt the box office for this one is that the split the split response to that last movie. I think made a lot of people not excited to go check out the new one. And I'll also say this: the trailers for the new one, they didn't get people hyped up like the trailers did for the first movie. So, and it was also, I know it was, people call January like a dumping ground. So I guess you could say it was kind of dumped in January. So like I just don't think people were hyped up for this new 20 years later movie, and I'm not surprised with this movie crashing and burning. I took that much of a big drop off. I don't, to me, it opened terribly. The 13th for its opening was, I believe, the 20 years later, the first 20 years later movie, it opened to like 30, slightly over 30. So to me, this movie was already done on its opening. And like I said, it sucks. As somebody who loves a new movie, I wish it was doing better. That's what happens when you come off a movie that was very divisive, or come off a movie people didn't like. Is that that can hurt a sequel sometimes. And then the next part of the box office is that Mercy movie with Chris Pratt was open to 11.2. Was This is not a movie I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised this movie is doing bad also because of the fact that the trailers, for me personally at least, the trailers did not get me hyped up for this movie at all. It didn't look interesting to me. It kind of looked generic. And just overall, the trailers did nothing to make me go, oh, I gotta see this movie in theaters. And I don't think the trailers got anybody hyped up for this movie. Like, I like Chris Pratt. The trailers for this movie just did not look all that interesting, at least for me personally. And I didn't get a whole lot of excitement around this movie. Like, I can see why, from trailer wise, why this movie was dumped in January. Again, I haven't seen the movie, so maybe the movie's really good. Also, the fact that Mercy is getting slammed critically, I think it has like a 20 something percent on Rotten Tomatoes. I will say this though. The movie Mercy with Chris Pratt does have, I think, an 80-81% on audience score. So it seems like the audience all really like it, or really enjoying the movie way more than the critics. So who knows? Maybe when I watch the movie, I'll probably watch it when it comes available Disney. I'll be like, you know what, this movie isn't as bad as it is, and it deserves to do better. Who knows? Combined with the word of mouth, with how much critics are slamming this movie review wise, and the fact there was just zero hyped around this movie, and the trailers didn't get anybody excited for this, I'm not shocked this movie did horrible opening wise. You also had Silent Hill that came out, Return to Silent Hill 3.2. This is another movie that I'm not surprised did horrible because there was no hype around this movie either. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see a whole lot of marketing for this movie, and the trailers didn't look all that good. So, like, I saw this movie at the theaters. I'm gonna be putting my review up for it tomorrow when well, I'll be putting it up on Tuesday. I'm recording this video today on Monday. It will be up on Tuesday. My review for Return to Silent Hill, and I can tell you, I completely understand why this movie is doing terrible. And it's coming off of two movies that, look, I never played the games of Silent Hill. I just, it's coming off two movies that I don't think were great. Like the original Silent Hill movie, I thought that was okay. It was fine. It was decent. It was watchable. It's one of those movies I just kind of forget about though. wasn't bad. I just not a movie. I find myself going like, oh man, I gotta go back and rewatch the original Silent Hill. The second one was god awful. It's coming off of a bad one. It's coming off of a first movie that, for me at least personally, I thought was kind of fine, mediocre, not terrible, not anything special either. So, and Silent Hill, the Silent Hill movies have made a whole lot of money at the box office. So, I think the hype just wasn't there for this new Silent Hill movie, and the fact it's getting slammed review-wise by critics and audience, because I think the audience score is in the 20s, I believe, 29. I think it's in like scores 29, and the critic scores in like lower than the audience score. So neither the audience or critics are liking this movie, and I can see why. And you'll see in my review why I understand why this movie is getting slammed on both sides. With the reviews and just no hype for this movie, this is another movie I knew was going to do horrible. I don't think anybody was excited for this movie, and I know the games are popular. It seems like the movies though, they don't so far they don't make a whole lot of money at the box office. So I don't know. Maybe Silent Hill is one of those video game franchises that people don't seem to really they don't seem to make that much money at the box office when you do a Silent Hill movie. No, that hasn't been a great Silent Hill movie either, so that could be a reason why. Just I don't think there was any hype for this new one though. So the next topic I'm going to talk about is a new Darkman movie is officially in development. Now I'm not sure if this is going to be like a sequel or a reboot. And the article I read sounds like Sam Raimi is going to be producing it, and that they got the directors of the Netflix movie Don't Move. Was that part doesn't really excite me personally. And also, as as much as I love Sam Raimi, I think he's a great director. I'll admit, Darkman isn't personally one of my top Sam Raimi movies. Like, I liked the movie, the original Darkman. I know they did some straight to DVD direct to sequels also, and I don't think Sam Raimi directed any of those, was a part of any of those sequels. When it comes to the original, though, like, I liked the original Darkman movie. I enjoyed it. It's not a movie, though, that I love or think is great. One of my top Sam Raimi movies. So even the news of it doing a new Darkman movie doesn't really excite me personally. I know it is kind of a cult movie, though. And the movie did okay. It wasn't like it made a lot of money. Like, it made, like, in the 40s based on, I think it was, like, between 10 and 15 budget. So the movie did okay. It wasn't like it was some like big money hit. There was no Darkman movie. It was more like a cult movie. So I definitely understand the original Dark movie has fans though, and it's just one of those movies that I personally like. I like it. It's not one of my like top favorite Sam Raimi movies. So the idea of doing a new Darkman movie doesn't really excite me. And Arco is basically saying that they have a script for the new Darkman movie, and that's going to be directed by the directors who did Don't Move, a Netflix movie, which I don't think was very good. So who they got to direct it doesn't exactly excite me because I'm like I don't. I think I looked up these directors, and I don't think I saw anything else they did. So it like the coolest thing in the article is that they Sam Raimi said these directors of Don't Move or that Netflix movie. They're big fans of the original Darkman movie, so that's one. I guess that would be one exciting thing is that you got directors who really are who love the original Darkman movie and are passionate about wanting to direct this new Darkman movie. That's cool. I just the filmography though. They've only directed one movie I can tell, and it was a Netflix movie that I don't think was really all that great. So the directing choice doesn't really get me to say as someone who's never really loved the original Darkman movie. I like the original. I don't love it though. So that this news, I think this is great news for fans who love that original movie. I'm happy for people who's been wanting to see a new Darkman movie, and it's cool to see that Sam Raimi is still going to produce it at least. And if he was directing it, maybe that would get me a little interested in this. I still wouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't wait for a new Darkman movie. I think this is great news though for fans who love that original movie, and you know, we'll, we'll, like we'll see with the choice of these directors. Like these two directors again, they've only done the Netflix movie Don't Move, I believe. They did direct some other stuff movie wise. I didn't really see anything that I could find online where they directed other movies. Like I said, it's cool that the fans of the Wizard of Darkman movie. It's great. Sam Raimi has that they got directors who are really passionate and want to make a new Darkman movie because they love the original. The filmography though, it doesn't really make me go, oh man, these are like exciting choices to direct a new Darkman movie. The other part of it says that the thing that's kind of like the thing they're still trying to figure out is the finance. They're still trying to the whole part of getting this movie off the ground is getting the studio to finance it. And I can understand that because of the fact that when you go back to the original Darkman movie, that movie was made for a low budget, and like I said, it only made in the 40 something area box office wise. It wasn't some big like hit the original Darkman movie. It did decent. I'll be honest, I don't know how a new Darkman movie would do in theaters. Personally, it was a more of a cult movie, and movies that tend to be like cult when you do like new movies in a franchise years later that are more like cult movies. When you look at like Blade Runner 2049, which was a sequel years later, those type of like movies don't tend to do well. So I don't know how a new Dolphin movie would even do at the box office. Like I don't think it would make a lot of money personally. Like I said, though, I think this is great news for fans, though. So if you're a Darkman fan, I'm happy for you. And maybe this new movie, if with it being officially in development, and they figure out the financial part of it and get it made, maybe I'll like come out a new one going like, oh, this made me like a really big fan of Darkman. For me personally, this news doesn't really like get me excited. I'm happy for fans though who love the original. The next topic I want to talk about is so a new Supergirl teaser came out where it showed a little bit more footage of Lobo. Overall, I thought this was a great little teaser. Doesn't show a whole lot, and to be honest, based on what I'm hearing with the test screenings, it doesn't sound like Lobo's going to have a big role in this movie. Which I'm fine with that if he doesn't. Like I have a feeling Lobo is only going to be in like probably at most 5 to 10 minutes in this movie. We're gonna have the character Lobo. I don't think he's gonna play a big role in the Supergirl movie, and I have a feeling he's only gonna be in there for like a little bit, since he's not the main villain of the movie. And I feel like he's gonna play probably a big role in future movies. When it comes to this teaser, though, I thought it was great though because of the fact that Jason Momoa, he's born to play Lobo. If I had to think of one of those casting decisions, where you go like that actor is born to play that character, and that actor looks like the character pulled straight out of the comics. Jason, like that actor who played Aquaman, I think he's born to play this character. It's like when I think of who could make the perfect Lobo, Jason Momoa is like to me number one choice. And the makeup and how Lobo looks in this teaser for Supergirl, he looks straight out of the comics. So for me personally, I thought this was a great little teaser. It's not like a really full trailer. It's just a little bit of more footage where you get to see Lobo. And for me, I've loved everything I've seen from the Supergirl movie. Like I'm loving the vibe, the tone they're going for. So I can't wait for this movie personally. I thought, I thought the first teaser was great. I thought this was a great teaser when it comes to just focused on showing a little bit more footage with Lobo. Lobo looks awesome footage wise for me, and I think this is a perfect casting choice. So far, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Supergirl. Hopefully, the movie ends up being really good and great when I see the movie. The next topic is that so the writer of Bumblebee, Birds of Prey, and the Flash movie is going to be writing the Batman and Brave, the new DC Universe Batman movie that's going to be directed by the director Eddie Muschietti, who directed the Flash movie. And I've seen some divided opinions on this writer. I did look up what other stuff she's written. This writer was, I'm probably going to pronounce the name wrong, Christina Hodson. I looked up what other stuff she's written, And I'm only familiar with the other things she's actually wrote film wise. She wrote the Bumblebee movie, which I think is the thing that makes me most excited about this choice because I love the Bumblebee movie. I think that's the best thing I've seen of her. Birds of Prey, I thought it was great personally, but I know people will not everybody loved that movie. The Flash movie, I used to really love the Flash movie, the Ezra one, but on rewatches, I don't love it as much, and I definitely noticed some flaws and kind of issues that I have with the movie on rewatches. I still think overall it's a fun movie though. Like I still like the Flash movie personally. Like it's not. I don't think it's as great as like the first time I saw it, and it's kind of gone down each time I watched it when it comes to not loving it as much as the first time. But overall, I still think it's a fun like movie to me. Like I like the Flash movie. It's not great. I definitely think there's some flaws with it when I watched it on rewatch when it comes to the third act being the third act with the time travel stuff. I think gets a little messy. The villain, the evil Flash, I think you could have like done you could have done more, developed that more. And the big thing being that the CGI I think looks really bad in the Flash movie. That's one thing I can't like defend. It's like you know what do you want to blame the director of Andy Muschietti or not? What do you want to fully blame him or not? The CGI in the Flash movie looks like crap. Like it becomes more noticeable when rewatches for me with the Flash movie where the CGI just looks like very like not finished to me at times and video game like and something about it just looks not great. It just feels like it's not finished. So the CGI in the Flash movie is one thing I can completely agree with people on that movie is that it does not look good, the CGI in that movie. And like I say, there's just other flaws with that movie I've noticed on rewatches where, yeah, it's not, I don't think it's a great movie. It's not one of my favorite comic book movies. I still think though it's a fun, solid movie. Like I still enjoy the Flash movie. There's definitely flaws with it. When it comes to stuff she's written though, out of the three things that I've known of, that I've seen of those, I am excited for this writer. Now, I can totally understand why people wouldn't be because I know a lot. I know there was a couple out there who didn't like the Flash movie. Yeah, I know Birds of Prey didn't for work for a lot of people also. So like it, I I know for some people they had fun with that Birds of Prey movie. I also know people who didn't like it. Bumblebee, I would say, is the best writing that she's done so far on the stuff I've seen. So when it comes to this choice of writer, I personally like this choice who they've gotten with in this movie. I can tell you, I get why though that not everybody's really liking the choice of writer for the Batman Brave and the Bold movie. I know some people don't even really want any Mercedes directing this Batman and Brave Bold movie because of like I said, not everybody really liked the Flash movie that much, and like I've said, there's flaws with that movie. I still like it. I don't love it as much as I used to. So, like, look, I'm just happy they. It sounds like they're working on this Batman and Brave Bold movie, and because I do want to, because I do think you need to make a new Batman movie in the DC universe, and I know there was a post going around that it sounds like the reason maybe it's could be slow and reason why it's like taking long is because of the fact you have the Batman 2 coming, and I know James kind of thinks like they don't want Batman movies released in like the same year or something like that. So I do think the Matt Reeves Batman 2 could be slowing down this movie a little bit. When it comes to this news of who's writing it, though, I'll admit I actually like the writing choice for this movie. Like I am a fan of this writer's work. Like I did like the Flash movie. I enjoyed it. I thought Birds of Prey was great personally. Like I love that movie. I think more than other people. And Bumblebee I think was a great movie and the best live action Transformers movie. I'm not familiar with the other stuff she's written. So hopefully Batman Babe Bold turns out great. I so far I personally trust the writer they got, and I trust James Gunn. And I just hope we get a really good to great Batman movie in the DC universe, because I definitely think you gotta make a really good to great one. I think you do need to make a Batman movie that's gonna feel different from Matt Reeves' Batman movie, obviously. So we'll see a Batman and Baby in the Mold. So that's all the topics today. Until next time, movie fans.